On August 31st, 2024, I posted this video on Five Nights at Freddy's Beta, a neat little FNaF fan game which reimagines the original FNaF 1 in an early, more unfinished state, using the game's scrapped content as well as original ideas from the devs to create a familiar yet frightening experience. While that video's mic quality was honestly abysmal, it is by far one of my favorite videos I've ever made, as I got to cover both the game itself and its accompanying ARG on the FNaF Beta Stuff YouTube channel. And now, 9 months and 3,500 views later, I'm back for round 2 to cover all of the updates on this ongoing ARG since that original video. We've got a lot to cover, from an update, to a brand new game, to some interesting lore revelations, and plenty more. Also, if you have no idea what I'm talking about right now, go watch my previous video on FNaF 1 Beta in the description. Without wasting any more time, let's pick up right where we left off on the FNaF Beta ARG. Okay, so before we talk about any actual games, we first have to talk about the FNaF Beta Stuff channel, as at some point between now and my original video, all of the videos on the channel were unlisted from YouTube, now all existing in their own separate playlist, fittingly titled Unlisted Videos Non-Canon, with this confirming that all of the videos that I talked about last time, except for powerout.avi for some reason, are now completely non-canon to the ARG, which is very interesting. As far as I can tell, there was never a reason provided for why this happened, but I'm assuming the devs just wanted to do a fresh start on the lore to coincide with the release of something else that I'll talk about later. But now, let's go over these videos. The first video we have is FNaF 1 June 17th build AI test, featuring a short gameplay video of presumably an edited version of FNaF 1 Beta, showing Bonnie slowly making his way toward the office before jumpscaring the player, with his jumpscare just being a still image, similar to Freddy's in powerout.avi. Pretty neat, but not much to say. Our next video is another gameplay video of an unreleased FNaF 1. Pretty much everything here is the same as FNaF 1 Beta, with a few changes and... Wait, who is this? This is Amadeus the Wolf, a made-up scrapped character from FNaF 1, who is a reference to the fact that Foxy was originally going to be a different animal before a fox. This animatronic apparently has its own small fan base, which is neat, but it's basically just tweaked Blue Foxy. Next up, we have a lost version of the original FNaF 1 trailer, seemingly being a reference to a rumored lost trailer for FNaF 1, which was confirmed fake. This trailer has a few cool moments and the return of Amadeus, but the coolest part happens at the very end. That's right! Alongside this video, FNaF 1 Beta 2.0 was released on GameJolt, a near-complete remake of the original FNaF 1 Beta game with a ton of new content, so let's go over some highlights. This update features improved visuals, new Easter eggs referencing FNaF 1 scrapped content, a new cheats menu, and most excitingly, a custom night with 2 new characters, Amadeus the Wolf from earlier, and a beaver who's another reference to how Foxy was originally going to be a different animal. I go more in depth on FNaF 1 Beta in my last video, but just go play the game for yourself if you're interested. It's really cool. Okay, now back to the ARG. Our last 2 videos on the ARG for this part are Springtrap Model Evolution and FNaF 1 Lost Kickstarter Wallpapers. The Springtrap model video shows some pretty cool fan models of how Springtrap would have looked during various phases of FNaF 3's development, and also might give us a tease of FNaF 3 Beta, while the Wallpapers video shows some images of Freddy, Bonnie, and Chica that were supposedly wallpapers, which were rewards for FNaF 1's Kickstarter, a real thing that happened, which failed to raise any money, leading to whatever wallpapers that would have been released being lost to time. Oh, wait, it looks like the channel just got an updated banner. Let me just check it out real quick, and what am I looking at? Say hello to the Withered animatronics. Not the ones you know from FNaF 2, but rather the pre-release beta designs meant for the FNaF 2 beta game. These designs are honestly way cooler than I expected them to be, as they give off such a convincing look of being early development models of the Withered animatronics, with each character using their FNaF 1 counterpart as a base. If you're confused as to why the Withereds look like this, when, as far as we know, the Withered animatronics never looked like this, because honestly, I was too for a bit, we do have an answer. A while back, the devs put out a poll asking people if they wanted to see this project take a more grounded or creative approach, and the creative option ended up winning by a mile. In my opinion, this is a much better route to take this project in, as I love the idea of reimagining the FNaF games with a more creative, unfinished approach. This also seemingly confirms that FNaF 2 was originally meant to be a sequel to FNaF 1 in its beta release. Speaking of which, FNaF 2 Beta, a sequel that everyone had been waiting for, released on May 3rd, 2025. Alongside the release of this game, a trailer was released that serves as both a trailer for the game, as well as an earlier version of the FNaF 2 trailer. FNaF 2's trailer has always been my favorite one throughout the series, and I really commemorate the level of detail put into making this trailer feel like an older version of FNaF 2's official one. Going over to the Game Jolt page, we get a similar vibe to FNaF 1 Beta's page, with some text asking us if we want to experience a look at what FNaF 2 could have looked like early in development, as well as some amazing screenshots. Although my favorite one has to be this one, remaking an iconic actual teaser for FNaF 2. Upon opening the game, we're once again reminded that this is not the FNaF 2 we know and love. Different background music, a different font for the options, and a new look at the wither designs that is rather ominous. Pressing New Game gives us a familiar yet noticeably different newspaper and cutscene, before we're finally launched into the gameplay.
Well, while you have no doors, you can at least still have light.
What the heck just happened? Okay, so this game did end up launching a little buggy. Most of the issues were pretty minor and patched quickly, but one was around for just a few hours longer, being the Endo bug. Basically, on night 6 of the game, a new character is introduced to the game, being a bare Endo that you need to get out of your office by putting on your mask. The bug part of this is that the Endo could originally show up on any night and was a massive pain to deal with as he would attack constantly. Thankfully this was patched pretty quickly, but playing this game for the first time had me insanely frustrated thanks to this bug. Right away, it's made abundantly clear that the gameplay this time around will be very different compared to FNaF 2. We can see that the power meter is back from FNaF 1, as well as the fact that there are now doorways instead of vents, which is a really nice touch. Opening the cameras, we get a look at the slightly altered restaurant layout, featuring an actual kitchen, as well as looks at our new but familiar foes. I already touched on how the withered animatronics are different, but the toys have also received slight palette swaps, which is neat. Finally, we can see that there's no more music box for the puppet, whose new mechanic I'll explain later. There is really not much to this night, you just watch the cams and use your mask on Toy Bonnie and Chica, with the mask now having its scrap toxicity mechanic from FNaF 2's files. Toy Chica also now has her unused sliding animation, which I absolutely love. After another familiar dream sequence, Night 2 introduces us to a few new characters. Withered Foxy and Toy Freddy, whose mechanics are unchanged, as well as Mangle and the Puppet, who have new mechanics. Mangle now works a lot like Foxy from FNaF 1, except you can flash her to set her back in the cove, and there's no way to stop her once she leaves. Her design has also been completely changed to a fixed up look, which is cool. The Puppet, on the other hand, now basically just blends in with everyone else. It gradually leaves the box, before randomly showing up in your office and needing the mask to repel it, as well as lacking its iconic tear tracks. While I've talked about all these characters, you might have noticed that I actually haven't brought up one of them yet. And that's because they aren't actually in this game. Yeah, Balloon Boy is completely absent from FNaF 2 Beta. However, this does actually make sense. See, it's a popular fan theory that Balloon Boy was created very late into FNaF 2's development, as he wasn't in the trailer, phone calls, or minigames, so I appreciate the detail that he's absent from this game. Nothing really notable happens in this game after Night 2, honestly. The Withers are added on Night 3, and they are cool. Freddy has a nice power-out sequence, but besides that, they're identical to FNaF 2. There's also Night 6 where the Endo from before is added, and there also seems to be a lack of secret minigames and Easter eggs, which is perfectly fine, just something I noticed. After Night 6, we end the game with a different newspaper, confirming that this game was indeed a proper sequel to FNaF 1. The best way I can describe FNaF 2 Beta is if FNaF 2 was just way more like FNaF 1. Plenty of assets and ideas are reused here, and the wizard animatronics are just slightly edited versions of the FNaF 1 crew. I mentioned in my last video that FNaF Beta feels like how you'd picture FNaF 1 in a dream, but FNaF 2 is much different. FNaF 2 Beta, in my opinion, feels like FNaF 2 in a disturbing alternate reality. A reality where Scott just didn't care enough to make FNaF 2 more original, and just reused assets and designs from FNaF 1. And honestly, while I do love FNaF 2 Beta for these ideas, I also would have absolutely hated if Scott's official FNaF 2 went in this direction, as it would look extremely lazy, and probably lead to FNaF not being as popular as it is today. Weirdly enough, I feel like this game serves as both a good fan game, as well as a cautionary tale of sorts. A warning to put effort and creativity into everything you make, and to not just write out your success for as much money and fame as possible. And I'm curious to see if future FNaF Beta entries will take a similar approach. So, what's next for FNaF Beta? Well, as of writing this, we have 4 teasers for FNaF 3 Beta. The Springtrap Model video I mentioned earlier, another video showing some unreleased sound effects, and 2 teaser images mirroring real teasers for FNaF 3, with the second one confirming the return of the toy animatronics. I'm very excited to see what's in the future, both in terms of games and videos, and I'll be sure to make a part 3 when FNaF 3 Beta eventually releases. Also, if this video has at all interested you in playing FNaF 2 Beta, I highly recommend doing so, and the link for the game will be in the description. But until then, thank you so much for watching this video, and let me know what you thought of these FNaF Beta updates in the comments below. And as always, I'm Supersonic, like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time.